Welcome back, everyone. I'm so glad you could join us for another deep dive into Rumi's world,
Yeah, this is episode 16 already. We're going to be focusing on Rumi's view of reason.
especially how it relates to faith. It's such a fascinating and complex topic, isn't it?
It really is. And we have some amazing guides for this exploration, Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani.
Oh, they're brilliant. Their insights into Rumi's poetry and philosophy are just incredible.
Absolutely.
But before we dive in, a quick note for our listeners. What you're hearing is a translation of conversations between these scholars.
Yeah, they're Iranian philosophers, and, sometimes things can get lost in translation.
Definitely. But we've done our best to capture the essence of their discussion, so just keep that in mind as we go along.
For sure. So, where should we begin?
Well, I think it's important to start by acknowledging that Rumi didn't see reason as this simple, like one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just a straightforward reason versus faith debate. Not at all. He actually distinguishes between different types of reason. Each one has its own strengths and its own limitations.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about these different types of reason.
Well, one that he talks about is akle yozi, which is often translated as, partial reason.
Partial reason. What does that even mean? Is it like incomplete or something?
It's not necessarily flawed, but it's definitely limited. It's like reason that's focused on a very specific area.
Oh, I see.
Like think about physics or economics. Within that specific field, it's really powerful. But outside of that, it might struggle to grasp concepts that are outside of that narrow focus.
So it's like you could have a brilliant physicist who can't figure out how to balance their checkbook.
Uh-huh, exactly. A genius in one area, but completely lost in another.
Makes sense. So how does Rumi address this limitation?
Well, that's where he introduces the idea of akli koli, universal reason.
Ah, okay. So instead of getting stuck in one specific area, we need to try to expand our understanding, see the bigger picture.
Precisely. It's about seeing how all these different areas of knowledge are actually interconnected. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Rumi didn't see reason as a passive thing.
Huh?
He talks about akhle fa'al, or active reason.
Active reason. I like that.
He's suggesting that reason is a force, one that actively shapes how we understand the world around us.
That makes me think of the mind as a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it gets.
I love that analogy. The more we actively engage with reason, the more flexible it becomes. And of course, to balance that out, there's also alkali and fali, passive reason.
Okay, so active and passive, how do those work together?
Well, the passive side is shaped by our experiences, by the information we take in from the world around us.
So it's like a two-way street. Our active reason seeks knowledge, and our passive reason is molded by what we encounter.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's this constant interplay between the two that creates our understanding of the world. But Rumi doesn't stop there. He goes on to explore how reason interacts with faith. And this is where he introduces Akwayamani, faith-based reason.
Faith-based reason. I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up. Isn't that kind of a contradiction? Like, aren't faith and reason supposed to be at odds with each other?
That's a common assumption for sure, but it's not what Rumi is suggesting at all.
Really?
Yeah. Dr. Dinani actually points out that Rumi doesn't advocate for blind faith. He's talking about an investigative faith, where reason is actually used to refine and deepen your understanding of spiritual truths.
Okay, so it's not about shutting down your critical thinking skills when it comes to matters of faith. It's more about using those skills to explore your beliefs more deeply.
Exactly. It's about questioning things and understanding them on a much deeper level.
That makes a lot more sense. So how does Rumi illustrate this idea of faith-based reason? Does he use any metaphors or anything?
He does, actually. He describes Akli Amani as a watchful cat.
A cat.
Yeah, guarding the heart against negative influences. Isn't that interesting?
It is. It's such a vivid image. So it's like purifying the heart is essential for developing this kind of faith-based reason.
Exactly. It's like creating a space within yourself, a space where faith and reason can coexist and even enhance each other.
I like that. So we've talked about a few different types of reason so far. But did Rumi ever criticize certain forms of reason?
He did. He wasn't afraid to call out those who relied too heavily on logic and argumentation, especially when it came to spiritual matters.
Oh, really? Why would he be critical of logic? I mean, isn't that supposed to be the gold standard of clear thinking?
It is in many ways, but Rumi felt that relying solely on logic, especially when searching for those higher truths, could actually be really unstable.
Unstable? How so?
Well, he often used the figure of Fakhrazi to illustrate this point. Razi was a brilliant scholar, known for his logic and argumentation.
Ah.
But Rumi suggested that this kind of reason could only take you so far on a spiritual path. He even used the analogy of legs made of wood to describe it.
Legs made of wood.
Yeah, like trying to stand on something that's inherently unreliable.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
So it's not that he rejected logic altogether. It's just that he recognized its limitations, especially when trying to grasp those truths that are beyond the realm of pure reason.
Precisely.
So if logic isn't always enough, what does Rumi offer as an alternative way of understanding, especially in the spiritual realm?
That's where things get really fascinating, because Rumi introduces this concept of showhood, which translates to direct knowing or sometimes intuition.
Direct knowing. That sounds almost mystical.
It does, doesn't it? He's suggesting there's a way to access knowledge that goes beyond that step-by-step process of logic. It's like those aha moments, those flashes of insight that come out of nowhere but feel so deeply true. Exactly. And this idea of showhood is closely linked to another one of Rumi's really intriguing concepts, the five senses beyond the five senses.
Wait, five senses beyond the five senses. Now you've got me really curious.
I know, right? It's mind-blowing. He's suggesting there's so much more to reality than what we can just see, hear, touch, taste, or smell. He's saying that those five senses are just the beginning.
Wow, I'm ready to dive deeper into this.
Me too. And it really does challenge our conventional ideas about how we perceive the world.
It does. I mean, it's saying there's a whole other level of perception that we're usually missing out on.
Exactly. Rumi seems to be suggesting that those five senses we're all familiar with, they're just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, now I have to ask.
Yeah.
How do we tap into these five senses beyond the five senses? Does Rumi give us any clues about what they might be?
Well, he doesn't lay out a specific list or anything like that, which I think is part of what makes his work so beautiful.
Why?
It's an invitation for us to explore, to contemplate, to discover those deeper senses within ourselves.
Yeah, I like that. It's like he's giving us a starting point and then encouraging us to go on our own journey of discovery.
Exactly. And Dr. Larijani suggests that we can find clues, by paying attention to those moments in our lives when we've experienced something that seems to go beyond those five senses.
Like what kind of moments?
Well, think about a time when you felt an overwhelming sense of awe in nature. Or maybe you had a sudden flash of insight that just felt deeply, profoundly true.
Yeah, or those moments of connection with another person, the kind that go beyond words.
Exactly. Those experiences have a different quality to them, don't they?
They do. It's like we're touching a deeper reality,
Yeah.
one that we can't quite grasp with our everyday minds.
It's true. And those experiences often involve the heart, wouldn't you say?
The heart.
Yeah. Remember, Rumi talks about the heart as the inner East.
Oh, right. He's saying it's more than just a physical organ, isn't he?
Exactly. It's a center of perception, a source of wisdom that can guide us toward those deeper truths that we've been talking about.
That phrase, inner East, always evokes such a beautiful image for me. It's like the sun rising, a sense of new beginnings, a dawning of understanding.
It is beautiful imagery, and I think it speaks to this idea that, true understanding, it's not just a mental process. It involves the heart, our intuition, our capacity for empathy and love. And I think it also requires a certain amount of trust,
Trust? In what sense?
Well, trust in ourselves, for one thing. Trust in the process of discovery. And maybe even trust in something beyond ourselves, something bigger.
I see what you mean. So how does this idea of showhood, this direct knowing, fit in with, the more traditional methods of seeking knowledge, like studying scriptures or engaging in logical debate?
Well, Rumi saw value in those approaches, for sure. He also recognized that they had their limitations. Remember, he wasn't a fan of endless arguments. We're getting caught up in intellectual hair splitting. He felt like those things could actually distract us from the true goal.
Which is?
To actually experience those deeper truths directly, not just theorize about them.
Oh, I see. So it's not about choosing one path over another. It's about recognizing that there are many paths to understanding, and each one has something unique to offer.
Exactly. And sometimes that path of direct knowing, that path of showhood, it can lead to insights that we could never have reached through logic alone.
It's like taking a shortcut, bypassing the mental maze and arriving right at the heart of the matter.
That's a great way to put it.
But even with those shortcuts, I imagine that cultivating these five senses beyond the five senses, that's got to be a lot of work.
Right.
It's not like we can just flip a switch and suddenly start perceiving the world in a whole new way.
You're right. It's definitely not that easy. It's a process, and it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of patience, and a willingness to question, to question everything we thought we knew about how the world works.
And it all comes back to that idea of purifying the heart, doesn't it?
It does. Dr. Dinani emphasizes that Rumi saw this as an essential practice, not just for spiritual growth, but for actually enhancing our perception in general. It's about clearing away the mental and emotional clutter, all the stuff that prevents us from seeing clearly.
It's like trying to look at the stars through a smog-filled sky.
Perfect analogy. You might catch a glimpse here and there, but you can't really see the full beauty.
So purifying the heart is like clearing away that smog. It allows us to perceive those subtle, luminous realities that were always there.
Yes, hidden in plain sight. And it highlights something important. Cultivating these deeper senses, it's not just about adding something new.
What do you mean?
Well, it's also about letting go, releasing what's been blocking our perception all along. It's about creating space for those subtler experiences to emerge.
So it's both addition and subtraction.
Yeah, cultivating new ways of seeing and releasing the things that no longer serve us.
I like that. So as we do this inner work, how might these five senses beyond the five senses start to manifest in our lives?
That's a great question, and it's one that I think we should explore in the next part of our deep dive. I'm really excited to share some specific examples from Rumi's poetry. And of course, we'll draw on the insights of Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani to help us understand how these deeper senses can enrich our lives.
And I'm already starting to see the world a bit differently. It's like Rumi is giving us a whole new set of lenses to look through.
He is, isn't he? It's amazing how he can take these seemingly abstract concepts and make them feel so tangible, so relevant to our lives.
Yeah, it's amazing. He really does have a way of bringing these ideas to life, making them feel real and accessible.
He does, and he doesn't just present these concepts like as intellectual puzzles. He actually offers guidance on how to cultivate these deeper ways of knowing.
Yeah, like how to awaken those five senses beyond the five senses.
Exactly. And remember how we talked about purifying the heart?
Right.
Well, Dr. Dinani, he really emphasizes how Rumi saw this as an essential practice, not just for spiritual growth, but for enhancing our perception, like in general.
It's about clearing away the clutter, isn't it?
It is. All that mental and emotional baggage, the limiting beliefs, all that stuff that prevents us from seeing clearly.
It's like, have you ever tried to look at the stars through a smog-filled sky?
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
You might catch a glimpse here and there, but you can't really see the full beauty of them.
So true.
So purifying the heart, it's like clearing away that smog, allowing us to perceive all those subtle, luminous realities.
Yes. It's like they were hidden in plain sight all along.
It's amazing to think about.
It is. And it highlights something really important, I think. Cultivating these deeper senses, it's not just about adding something new.
Okay, so what else is it about?
Well, it's also about letting go of things, releasing what's been blocking our perception all this time.
Oh, that makes sense, like creating space for those subtler experiences to come through.
Exactly. So it's both addition and subtraction, cultivating new ways of seeing, but also releasing what no longer serves us.
I like that. So as we do this work, this inner work, how do you think those five senses beyond the five senses might start to show up in our everyday lives?
That's a great question. For example, we might start to experience a heightened sense of intuition, those gut feelings that guide us towards the right decisions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've had so many experiences where I've just trusted my gut, and it's led me to some amazing opportunities, or even helped me avoid, potential problems.
That's exactly it. It's like tapping into this deeper well of wisdom that's beyond our rational mind.
For sure. So what are some other ways those deeper senses might manifest?
Well, we might also experience a much deeper sense of empathy. A feeling of interconnectedness with all beings.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or we might develop a more profound appreciation for beauty, not just in art or nature, but in those everyday moments of life.
Oh, those are beautiful examples. It makes me wonder, do you think these senses are always operating in the background, even when we're not consciously aware of them? Maybe it's just that by purifying the heart, we become more attuned to them, more receptive.
That's a fascinating idea, and it actually aligns with what Dr. Larijani shares about Rumi's concept of the perfect man.
Perfect man. That sounds, I don't know, a little intimidating, like there's this standard we're all supposed to live up to.
I know what you mean, but it's not what Rumi intended at all.
Oh, So what did he mean by perfect man?
Well, for him, it's not about achieving some external ideal. It's more about recognizing the potential for wholeness that already exists within each of us.
I see. So it's more about an inner transformation.
Exactly, a journey of self-discovery and integration. And I think part of that journey involves, awakening those deeper senses, those capacities that we've been talking about.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not about striving for some kind of external validation. It's about realizing the fullness of our own being
Yeah.
and expressing that in our interactions with the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And recognizing that same potential in others.
I like that a lot.
That actually brings us to another key aspect of Rumi's teaching. Love. He saw love as the driving force.
Love as the
Oh,
driving force.
Yeah. He saw it as the energy that connects us all. And he really believed that cultivating love is absolutely essential for awakening those deeper senses and embodying that wholeness we've been talking about.
Yeah, I can see how love plays a part in all of this. When we're operating from a place of love, it's like our hearts are more open, our minds are more receptive.
That's it. And we're
Yeah.
just more likely to experience those subtle, interconnected realities that Rumi speaks of.
Absolutely. And it's not just about romantic love, right?
No, it's so much bigger than that. It's more encompassing love.
Mhm.
It includes compassion, kindness, forgiveness, and that deep sense of connection.
It sounds like love is the fuel that powers our journey of awakening.
I love that. It's the energy that allows those five senses beyond the five senses to blossom and flourish.
Beautifully put.
Well, as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave our listeners with this invitation. Take some time to explore those moments in your own lives where you've experienced that sense of wonder, that sense of awe, that deep connection. Pay attention to those intuitive whispers, those flashes of insight that seem to come from beyond the mind. And cultivate practices that purify the heart, that open you up to the beauty and interconnectedness of the world. And above all, nurture that love. Allow it to radiate outwards and touch the lives of everyone you encounter.
Those are powerful words. Thank you for sharing those. And a huge thank you to all of our listeners for joining us on this journey. It's been incredible exploring the heart of Rumi's wisdom with you. I hope his words continue to inspire you and challenge you and guide you on your own unique path.
Yeah, and remember, this isn't the end. The journey doesn't stop here. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep cultivating those five senses beyond the five senses. Let that love be your guide every step of the way.
Until next time, may the beauty of Rumi's words continue to illuminate your path.